Step inside these sacred walls. But be warned, not all who dwell here are at peace. Tonight, we're exploring haunted churches, places where faith meets fear, and the echoes of forgotten souls linger in the silence. From shadowy figures in the pews to mysterious footsteps in empty halls, these holy places hold more than just prayers. So, light a candle and prepare yourself, because once you hear these stories, you might never look at a church the same way again. The Ghosts of St Nicholas Church, Pluckley, England. St Nicholas Church in Pluckley, Kent, is said to be one of the most haunted churches in the UK. Located in what is reputedly England's most haunted village, the church has been the site of numerous ghostly sightings and paranormal events over the centuries. Pluckley is infamous for its high concentration of ghost sightings, and St Nicholas Church stands at the heart of these eerie tales. The church, built in the 13th century, is surrounded by ancient gravestones, towering trees, and an atmosphere thick with the weight of its history. The dim light that filters through its medieval windows only adds to its spooky ambience. The village itself is said to be haunted by as many as 12 different ghosts, and St Nicholas Church is home to several of these spectral figures. From a red lady who wanders the churchyard to a phantom monk that haunts the interior, there is no shortage of eerie tales attached to this sacred place. One of the most well-known apparitions tied to the church is the Red Lady, a ghost that has been sighted wandering the graveyard. According to local legend, the Red Lady is the spirit of a woman who was buried in the churchyard centuries ago, along with a single red rose placed upon her coffin. The Red Lady is said to be a grieving mother who lost her child under tragic circumstances. Heartbroken, she returned to the church after death, endlessly searching for the grave of her child. Witnesses claim to have seen her moving slowly among the tombstones, her long red gown billowing in the wind, her face pale and sorrowful. Some have reported hearing faint sobbing late at night when the village is asleep. Adding to the lore, the Red Lady is often associated with cold spots, where temperatures drop suddenly, and a feeling of overwhelming sadness washes over those nearby. Ghost hunters who have investigated the church report their equipment malfunctioning or picking up strange readings in the graveyard, especially near the site where the Red Lady is said to be buried. Inside the church itself, visitors have encountered the spectral form of a phantom monk. Described as a tall, shadowy figure in a long robe, the monk has been seen gliding silently through the aisles or standing near the altar as if in quiet contemplation. Unlike the Red Lady, the monk is more mysterious. No one knows exactly who he was in life or why he haunts the church. The monk's presence is often accompanied by the sound of footsteps echoing through the empty building, even when no one else is around. Some visitors report feeling an intense pressure or weight, as though they are being watched closely by unseen eyes. In 1965, a vicar claimed that he was visited by the monk during an evening service. The figure appeared behind him as he stood at the altar, only to vanish moments later in front of the stunned congregation. Ever since that sighting, parishioners have kept their eyes open during services, half expecting to see the mysterious monk again. The graveyard surrounding St Nicholas Church is notorious for strange occurrences. People have reported hearing disembodied voices, particularly a man's deep voice reciting prayers or chanting in Latin. Visitors often speak of a heavy atmosphere near certain graves, and some claim to have seen shadowy figures darting between tombstones at twilight. During the 1990s, a team of paranormal investigators spent the night in the churchyard with their equipment, hoping to document ghostly phenomena. They captured several strange orbs and even what appeared to be a faint outline of a figure standing among the graves. Those who dared to enter the graveyard at night spoke of an unsettling presence, as if unseen entities were lingering nearby. Despite its dark reputation, St Nicholas Church remains an active place of worship. Visitors come from all over the world to experience the haunted atmosphere of Pluckley, but the locals treat the stories with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain: St Nicholas Church and its surrounding graveyard leave an indelible mark on all who visit. The Unsettling Spirits of St Peter's Church, Wokingham, England. St Peter's Church in Wokingham is not as famous as other haunted locations, but locals know it for its inexplicable paranormal activity. Founded in the early 12th century, this ancient church holds many secrets within its stone walls. St. Peter's Church is nestled in the quiet town of Wokingham, its towering spire visible from nearly every part of the village. The church's foundation dates back to the Norman period, and over the centuries, it has been a place of worship, sanctuary, and, as some believe, a gathering place for restless spirits. The church has been witness to many life-altering events, weddings, baptisms, funerals, and during the English Civil War, it even served as a refuge. With such a long and storied history, it's no wonder that the church has become the center of several ghostly tales. Much like St. Nicholas Church in Pluckley, St. Peter's is also haunted by the apparition of a monk. However, this monk's story is tied to a darker part of the church's past. According to legend, the monk lived in the area during the late 15th century. It's believed that he committed an unspeakable sin and was condemned by the church, which led to his untimely demise. The monk's guilt, sorrow, or shame seems to have bound him to St. Peter's, where he is still seen roaming the pews late at night. Several witnesses have claimed to see the monk moving through the church during evening services. He always appears near the altar, dressed in a long, brown robe with a hood obscuring his face. His presence is often accompanied by a sense of coldness, and some have reported seeing candle flames flicker wildly whenever he appears. In 2005, a caretaker working late at the church swore he saw the monk kneeling at the front pew. When he approached, the figure simply vanished before his eyes. The caretaker, a skeptic at the time, refused to enter the church alone ever again. Another haunting at St. Peter's involves the sound of a child crying. Numerous visitors have reported hearing faint sobbing coming from a corner of the church, often in the late afternoon when the church is mostly empty. The cries are soft at first, almost imperceptible, but then grow louder until it sounds like the child is right beside you. There is no record of a child dying in the church, but the sound is undeniable. Paranormal investigators who visited the site captured the distinct sound of a child crying on audio recorders. Some believe that the child might have been abandoned at the church during one of the wars that ravaged the area centuries ago, left to perish, while others think it might be a residual haunting, a fragment of the past that continues to replay. St. Peter's Church has been the site of several other ghostly occurrences. On more than one occasion, parishioners have reported seeing a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing sitting quietly in one of the pews. When they approached to greet her, she disappeared without a trace. The organ in the church has also been known to play by itself, particularly late at night. Some nights, the haunting melody can be heard echoing through the empty church, even though the organist insists no one is touching the keys. During one investigation, a paranormal group recorded a series of inexplicable events: doors slamming shut by themselves, strange mists appearing in photographs, and a strong scent of incense that would come and go without explanation. Despite its haunting reputation, St. Peter's Church remains an active place of worship. Its dark history and mysterious events make it a popular destination for ghost hunters and curious visitors alike. Whether you come for the spiritual services or to experience the paranormal activity, St. Peter's will leave a lasting impression on anyone who steps through its ancient doors. The Haunted Cathedral of Seville, Spain. The Cathedral of Seville, one of the largest and most magnificent churches in the world, is known not just for its breathtaking architecture but also for its dark, haunted past. The Cathedral of Seville, built on the site of a former mosque, is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. Its towering spires, intricate carvings, and sprawling interior make it a focal point of the city. Thousands of tourists and worshippers pass through its doors every year, but not all who enter leave undisturbed. One of the most famous paranormal occurrences in the cathedral takes place in the sacristy, where priests and clerics prepare for Mass. According to multiple reports, a mysterious figure has been seen standing in the shadows, watching those who enter. The figure is dressed in the robes of a cleric, though his face is often obscured. What makes this haunting particularly chilling is that the figure doesn't just appear as a silent observer. On more than one occasion, people have reported hearing a soft whisper in their ear when they were alone in the sacristy. The words are often indistinct, though some claim to have heard the phrase "Vete da aquí," leave here, whispered urgently. Another famous ghost said to haunt the cathedral is Cardinal Juan de Cervantes, whose tomb lies within the church. Cervantes was a powerful figure in the Spanish church during the 15th century, and his influence extended far beyond Seville. However, after his death, rumors began to circulate that the cardinal's spirit had never truly left the cathedral. Visitors have reported seeing the figure of an elderly man dressed in elaborate church robes wandering near the tomb. His face is described as stern, and he is often seen pacing as though deep in thought. Some believe that the cardinal is still watching over the cathedral, ensuring that it remains a holy place, while others think that he is trapped there, unable to move on from his earthly responsibilities. Apart from the apparitions, visitors to the cathedral frequently report hearing strange sounds, footsteps echoing through the halls when no one is there, voices calling out from the darkness, and the sound of heavy doors slamming shut on their own. These occurrences are often dismissed as the product of the cathedral's size and acoustics, but those who have experienced them firsthand believe something supernatural is at play. One of the more unnerving sounds reported is that of bells tolling late at night, even when no services are scheduled. The bells have been known to ring out in a slow, somber cadence, as though marking the passage of something, or someone, unseen. The Cathedral of Seville's haunting reputation does not deter visitors from exploring its stunning interior. In fact, many come specifically to experience its ghostly atmosphere. From the mysterious figure in the sacristy to the restless spirit of Cardinal Cervantes, Seville Cathedral remains one of the most haunted and beautiful churches in the world. If you've made it through the tales of these haunted sanctuaries, consider yourself blessed, or perhaps just spared, for now. If these stories left you with a chill, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell before the spirits return. Until next time, remember, even in places meant for peace, some souls can never truly rest.